Okay, so for what they're worth, I had a short think about this, but again, I know I probably mentioned this idea before, and this is just sort of I don't exactly know what the idea about this really. I don't really know where this idea came from, but well, I may as I'll just talk and see what comes out. Hey, let's try that. Is that about a year ago, I had this very vivid idea of of a way to like get a lot of people out of work into work, and also a way to actually encourage people to sort of lose weight at the same time, to kill two birds with one stone. Takes a bit of pressure off the national health, but we'll see how well that stacks up when the time comes. So the idea was literally, let's say if you had like let's take Huddersfield just for one for just for example. Let's say we had like a warehouse, and you fitted this warehouse with roughly let's say 200 electric bikes, and you fitted all these bikes to a dynamo which all connected to a generator, and you could make this entire warehouse turn into a sort of like a miniature power plant, and you could use it to let's say charge up an electric car, or you could use it to, I don't know, maybe run all the lights of a building for maybe 12 hours. And that it's only through my perception about how this is meant to like come into play, but 200 people literally employed almost right there, and you could of course have them all do 40 hours a week, or literally you could suggest some people could do it on a part-time basis or do a flexi-time basis, in which they could do 60 hours, or even do zero contract hours, in which it's just a way to earn a little bit extra money, if you know, it's just while it's there, because it's a resource. Again, you have to understand, is the idea is that if you're on a bike for, let's say, even so much as 4 hours a day, you could roughly lose something close to about like over 1,000 calories in the span of 4 hours. And over a period of time, if people were doing this as a full time job, they could lose nearly 10,000, burn 10,000 calories a week. And let's just say you were maybe on the larger side of the weight spectrum. Is that, well, weight spectrum? I apologize for the phrasing of that. But you could start losing weight from nearly a stone in possibly like 6.5 weeks of just doing this. The idea is literally, as it says, kill two birds with one stone. Now, to be honest, there are some pretty, and again, if warehouse plants like these opened everywhere, for example, if you had 50 entire, well, let's say you probably need somewhere near 250 plants like these all over the UK, because I'm trying to work out the system between how many people you would need, and also how many plants you would need to accumulate and to actually generate that much electricity. Because it does raise an interesting question, is that if the idea is we're going to sort of like restrict, or sort of fall back on trying to restrict or to use less fossil fuels and use more electricity, then as opposed to coal mining, what about bike getting or bike riding? It's because you could almost say in theory the two practices are kind of the same, is that you make people generate their own power, and hey presto, you're losing weight and you're generating power, and it's a far more humane practice than doing coal mining from over 100 years ago. So there's all that to be said, and there's all that to be done. And let's say, for example, I know a lot of people point the finger towards like migration in this country, but I'm pretty sure even they would love the work, because if people are going to be complaining about or saying that we're going to be having a higher rise in our population at all, whether it's through people migrating to this country or more people in this country populating more than ever, then again, having something that satisfies people, and again, it could be through 0-hour contracts. So you could, let's say, sacrifice 2 hours out of your week and just do something like that just to earn like an extra 20 quid. It's why not take the offer on? I mean, it means you'll be losing weight. It means that you'll be generating power and you get paid for it. Because at this moment in time, if it wasn't for the fact that because what is the motive right now to actually lose weight? To live longer, perhaps, but it's the old adage of who's to say that you lose 4 stone in a year and you feel fantastic, and then before you know where you are, you're getting knocked over by a bus. So who's to say that a disaster like that wouldn't happen and stuff like this comes out about? And I know I'm getting a little bit sidetracked in all this, but again, while this is just going into, and because I'm trying to get my calculator to pop up, I'm just going to use the one for my phone instead. So let's just say we had like 250 plants, and we had at least 200 people peddling away. So we times that, that's like 50,000 new jobs you could just create right there. Or if you want to go one further, what about having a day and night cycle? See what I did there? So you could literally times this figure by 3. You could have like people on a morning shift, an afternoon shift, or even a night shift, have these plants working all the time, and you could have vacancies for 150,000 jobs right there. Or who's to say, what about 400 plants, like at least 6 to possibly 20 in every major city in the UK, and we times that by 200 workers, and we times that by 3 again. Even so, maybe some of these warehouses you could have more than 200 bicycles at any one time. But either way, you're looking at creating jobs for roughly more than 250,000 people. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. 250,000 people completely have with a new prospect, a new job in sight. And again, if you even want to go one step further again, you're going to, of course, hire people to actually clean the bikes, and you're going to have to actually hire people to maintenance the bikes if there are problems. So you would have to, raise awareness and employ people to not only engineer and build the bikes. You would have to hire engineers to build the dynamos and the cables. You would have to hire electricians to actually, sort out the power is done in a safe way. Hire cleaning staff so that no infectious diseases. And that if there was an inevitability where somebody had like a funny turn or an accident, that they would know immediately what to do and to actually attend to a source. Then, of course, let's say you would have to hire like admin staff, maybe security, there's more jobs going for an idea like this than you might think. And total something up random, all the things are suggested, you could have very much job fillings for nearly 300,000 people. 300,000 people who get the opportunity to work, to lose weight, to provide something back for the country, something that's actually readily sought after and incredibly important, to actually give some level of power back to this country in the form of electricity, and it gives them a wage. Now, to my mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's the sort of thing that, again, if push comes to shove, it's the sort of thing that I would be in favour of, because, like I said, you're taking people who might be unemployed, you're giving them a job. You're taking people who might be suffering from issues regarding weight and they want to lose it, and they can also get paid for losing weight. You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and you're providing an incentive for people to lose weight. Because if you were going to be paid for it, ladies and gentlemen, would you lose weight? You know what I mean? It's an argument that sort of speaks for itself. And, well, what can I say, ladies and gentlemen? Again, what about the also other benefits of this is that you could literally discounts for going to gyms, or discounts for like clothing outlets at something like JD Sports and the like. So is the idea is that they'll get an influx in business because there'll be more people ready to actually afford their clothing through the work that they do. And there is a great level of dignity just brought back into the idea that you're creating a new form of job that is more than absolutely okay for people to do, and you get the benefit of actually being able to go home or work to your own capacity. This is only really a rough idea I had in my mind for like the last 12 months, and you can argue that there are some very obvious objections to all it. For example, people may seem it seems more like a plantation as opposed to a power plant, that it seems almost akin to, let's say, a glorified workhouse, and that whether or not 300,000, well, roughly 250,000 people cycling generates as much electricity as it can be suggested. For example, would it even be possible to, let's say, power up the entire, like, let's say, the entirety of Kingston upon Hull for roughly, let's say, a day, if 300,000 people were on the bikes and stuff like that? Is that the sort of thing that would be possible? Well, who knows? And it's not really the sort of thing that I can say at the back of my mind right now, because, well, how do you test a practice like this? And, well, you could even have a slogan of it, shift yourself to work, or pedal for Britain, or do some of that fancy slogan bollocks that, people will absolutely, like, lap up like dogs. And, well, it's just, it stands to reason, ladies and gentlemen, is that what I said earlier is that not work just so much for the sake of working, but work of which a person can enjoy the benefit. And, well, that's just it answers the other question, because at any rate, it's got to be a suggestion that it's got to be worth thinking about, because the question is what to do with a nation that is considered to be overweight and idle, and the answer, by making them lose weight for their bread, imposes itself almost automatically. Well, that's my suggestion about it anyway, and whether or not there's any better suggestions long term, I don't know. But you gotta be a little bit bold and a little bit more, well, radical, I suppose, if it means there's something out of it. But we'll wait and see, eh? And hey, you know what? Even install a bike in your own home. Make you work from home, generate electricity that way. Or even if you're going to go through the sole trader route, at least providing electricity for your own home is not necessarily something to be sniffed at, if you see that. Anyway, thank you very much, and take care.